What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Team Solemn Circus deck profile. Today we're going over Darkworld. This is the deck I put up on a poll the other day, and you guys decided you wanted to vote for it. So I want to be featuring off the newly updated version, which is including the colorless. This is an optional card you guys can play. I'll be explaining it and also showing you guys what other options you can do. Before we dive into it, like, comment, subscribe. We did hit 5K. Hit that this morning. I'm going to make a post, which is really sick. Thank you for all of your guys' support. We're going to be trying to go for a big 10K this year. But absolutely huge being able to hit that. We're going to be giving away a mat, so I'll be doing probably a post about that later today or during this week. But yeah, big shout outs to you guys. And yeah, it means a lot to me. So we're diving on in. We're going to be playing 2 of the Grapha. This is pretty standard. You don't need 3 of these. It is your mandatory pop. We are going into a DD Crow format. So like this deck is not going to be that great. We're also seeing Drolls being back into the main. So not going to be, of course, the greatest. But then we are on the triple rainbow. This card is absolutely insane. Being able to search, you have multiple targets now with the regular copy of rainbow. I do wish that colorless said that they could use a rainbow overlord monster, but instead it mentioned that it had to be of the dark world, not over king, which is kind of unfortunate for us. If we would have been able to use this for colorless, that would have been absolutely insane, though. Konami just has to slap us on the wrist somehow. We are playing the one. This is actually really cool because it's a lightning storm as well as Raigeki as well as a duster. So I guess this is fine playing one of it in the main. It's also really good when you pair it up with your Grapha. So like a lot of the times you can go Grapha, keep this in hand, you get a Grapha effect, send this, blow up their back row, blow up their field, and then of course you can just banish it in the graveyard and then summon out one of these, which is really cool as well. Kind of adding a little bit of a brick, but that's all right because it's still a usable brick. We still are on the 2 Silva. I love hand looping. Not much to say here about that. These are only your big monsters. They're on your little guys. We're on 3 snow. Search your deck, bro. Any deck who's playing under 3 is just a Bose. Ditto with the copy of Genta. This card's absolutely crazy. And we are still only on the 1 Ceruli. So the reason why we're only playing 1 of these is because we are on the Gen and Ken. If you are not playing Gen and Ken, you definitely can swap this out. Play 2 of them. I've seen some builds playing a copy of Tour Guide. Tour Guide gets you into the gets into either Doom Dog or gets you into the rock, but it's like Verstalio or whatever. It changes names in the graveyard to be a fusion. So they're playing that instead of this, but that just feels like I don't want to be normal summoning something really bad and having nothing to do. Normally you don't normal any of these. So you really want to have a normal, and I guess this does not play around your copies of Droll, but it definitely does help. And it kind of forces them to throw an Imperm or an Ash down on it, which is really nice. But that's really it for the Dark World package. No Lucient or anything like that. I don't think it's good. And gold obviously is being replaced by the copy of Rainbow. But one more Dark World monster doesn't really change. We did mention it before. We are playing the 3 Gen, 1 Ken. You are Ken enough just playing it at 1. And with the Gen, it's just you normal summon it, add for the effect, get this. We don't even go for, I saw some builds playing, of course I mentioned earlier, the copies of Tour Guide, and then Tour Guide going to the Vergagio or whatever it's called. It's copies the name, and then they overlay for a copy. What do you do next? You either link summon or you overlay into Number 72 Bamboozled. And it's just okay, so you have a negate for Droll, but at that point it's okay, but you have to then use the negate or just link it away. At that point, it's that's kind of just mid. I'd rather just have a normal, give them a card, and then have a bunch of other stuff to be able to trigger. Also, really good with Cash. Cash is coming in the format. It's all right against Fire King, just giving them this. But a lot of the times, you're gonna rip their hand. I kind of enjoy having multiple ways to rip their hand. That's personally just me. And then for the danger cards, we actually are still on a bigger danger package than before. On the 2 Bigfoot, 1 Thunderbird, 2 Nessie, 1 Chupacabra, 1 Mothman, 1 Jackalope. So the reason why we did cut down on one of the Nessies is because there is lots of stuff that in the format they want to be able to discarding. We don't want to have to brick up on these. There are lots of cards that we want to keep in our hands, and I kind of replaced this with the copy of Rainbow, which is not the greatest, but I found myself always bricking on it, and people are well, why are you playing the Thunderbird? Why are you playing 2 Bigfoots? So many builds just play 1 and 1. So the reason why I'm playing these is because I'm playing Trade-In. I don't like the Allure of Darkness build. I think that yes, Allure is fine, but at the same time, it's just well, they don't trigger your stuff. Sending one of these to the graveyard for a trade and then drawing a card is or drawing 2 cards is absolutely crazy. And then you can just put this back. Like, I don't want to banish nothing other than Genta, so it's just like that's just not really worth it to me. But yeah, and then of course we are playing the Nessies. Nessie can get you really anything else, and so obviously you never want to see 2 of them, so that's fine. And then Chupacabra, a lot of players cut this, but I feel like this card's absolutely insane into the grind game. Like if you're going later on in your turn, you've already used your Bigfoot, you go Chupacabra, they hit the Chupacabra, then you can send them back, go to Bigfoot to level 8. That's just absolutely free. The more bodies, the better. And I do want to mention that I'm not playing this card. So this card is absolutely, like, it's a really good card, but the problem is I just don't find myself using it. If I want to put Dweller in this deck, which I might be doing with more testing, I would probably include this because, you know, it is a, you know, second danger card, I guess, or a copy of a Darkworld. It's really good. It is a level 4, also comes up, but it's just, I find it's just not that good right now. Now we are on the spells. So I'm playing triple gates. I know a lot of people are like, oh, you definitely have to only play 2 gates. Don't play 3. Don't play 3. I love gates. Opening 2 gates kind of sucks, but it's fine. You know, it is one of your combo starters. And then we are on the 2 corridor. I'm glad that everyone decided we play 2 of these and not any more of them. It absolutely hurts. We are on the 1 Accession. I was the longest fan of 2 Accession. I was the biggest fan of 2 Accession for the longest time. But I am down to 1, which is kind of wild because, you know, with the card, you know, having a new fusion monster, why are you cutting it down to 1? So the reason why is because I was bricking on 2, and I'm replacing it for a Darkworld Puppetry. So if you guys haven't read Soul Release, which is going to be popular in the next format here, you know, coming up in literally a week here, this card here, this card banishes 3 of your opponent's cards in the graveyard during the start of your turn, but we have a searchable quick play version of it. So it also like triggered our Darkworld cards as well. So this is really good against Fire King. You know, you're able to do this in the draw phase if you can get a body on the field, or I guess in your hand, really. So you can just go straw phase, activate Puppetry, get rid of those 3 cards that are pesky, or even if you're playing in Snake Eye, hitting those cards, even the Wanted. Like, there's so many good cards that you can hit with this, and then triggers your Darkworld stuff, and you're already on a roll. In the draw phase, you know, Puppetry, send Grapha effect. Like, there's so much you can do that's just really nice with this card. And they're playing the 1 Archives. The 2 trade-ins, you know, you definitely don't need 3. I think that like, I draw enough with this deck. Card Destruction, and of course the 2 Talents. So I'm not playing any copies of Thrust in the main deck. It is a potential side deck card. I just don't find that I always want to see it. A lot of the times, like, you are going to be playing against a lot of hand traps as well. It's like, I don't want to be able to set a card or draw into it. Like, what am I going to be drawing? Or what am I going to be setting? I can set a Talents, but that's not going to do very much. I can set a Puppetry, which is all right. And the other option is I could set the Eradicator, but the problem with Eradicator is that it adds an additional brick to the deck. So instead of playing the other copy of Thrust, I put up the 2 Talents. So if we can do a hand trap, I can rip their hand. And then I'm not playing any trap cards because I want this deck to be as consistent as possible, and like that's my main goal for this. It is really cool that we are able to play the Puppetry. I haven't seen any decks really play that lately at all, but it's really nice that we got an in-engine kind of like triple TD Crow with a discard. Now for the extra deck, this is a solid 15. Of course, you guys can change it up and play whatever you guys want. There are a lot of options I will be explaining. We are playing the 1 Colorless as well as the 2 Graphas. This card is really nice. It just blows up the field. And of course, if you pair it with your Grapha Fusion, like a lot of times on turn 0, you'll make this. This effect can send the actual copy of Rainbow. And then in the follow-up turn, you could actually use this to make it. Or if you already had set the copy of the fusion spell, you can actually use this, discard the Rainbow, destroy all their cards or whatever, and then you can actually activate, banish, summon with this, and then just does it once again. So it's like just absolutely crazy with a nice little combo with a fusion monsters. We are playing 2 of it. And then for XYZs, we are on the Dugaris, Baguska. I've seen some players drop Baguska. I think that's absolutely wrong. If you get drolled, a lot of times you can just make this, and it kind of buys you a turn. Then we are on the 1 Coach King Trainer. People have dropped this for a copy of the Garunix, and I think that like that's kind of valid, but I love drawing 3 cards and then burning. And having a card that can burn in time is really nice. And of course, this card is great, but a lot of the times just like, okay, what after? Like, yes, you blow up the field, but you have different ways to blow up the field as well. I mean, it's really only going second card, which is fine. We are on the new Buzz King. This card's absolutely crazy. You guys haven't read it. You don't get Fiend Locked very often, but it is just nice to make. You could play a copy of Hope Harbinger or the copy of what's I'm looking for? Number 90, the copy of whatever the Galaxy Eyes thing for a monster or a spell and trap negate. But I just really like this option as well, being able to take your opponent's stuff, which is really cool. Then we are on the Typhon. It's crazy that I haven't played this deck with Typhon like since Typhon came out, which is really nice. This card is just disgusting for the deck. You know, a lot of times you're able to just like make a big board, you have like a big body in the field, and you just slap on a Typhon. It's like, okay, well now you can't do anything. Then you can just like battle phase and then bounce whatever you can't beat over. Really nice. That's it for the XYZs. Now there's lots of different options for you guys to play. These are just the options I'm enjoying. Pardon with that. Now for the links. We're on the one at Caution Magician. We love the bounce. Security Dragon. We love the bounce. Mudraker. Mudraker is actually really good, you know, being able to send cards and then summon them back out. A lot of times you can like just do some really weird stuff and then bring out a copy of like Carafa, which is really cool. Extremely underrated. People have forgot about that. And then like, of course, you can just summon out one of your like Snows and Snow being able to bounce, or a copy of Silva, and then Silva bounce back to the hand, which is always nice. SP Little Knight, once again, I have not played this deck since SP Little Knight came out, and like post Agovi, this is just absolutely insane. But of course, post Maze is just even nicer. SP Little Knight's really good. It does simplify the deck a lot. A lot of times you can like go for your combos, and just like if you have two bodies on the field, rather than make like cross sheep, you can now just make an SP, and the SP just bounces your opponent's stuff, and then able to tag out in and out, protects your stuff, which is really nice. Then we are playing the one Skull Dread, of course, drawing cards. The one Apapalooza, and of course, getting a Royal Goddess for those big monsters. Not much I can say about this. I am not playing a lot of like negates. My goal is to hand rip you, leave you on like maybe one card in hand, go for an Apapalooza or an SP, and like at that point, I'm just big chilling. I saw some people playing like copies of IP, but at that point, it's just like, well, that's another body, and like a lot of the times, I don't really care that much to go into an SP later in the turn. I'm okay with like actually being able to like, if you summon out something that beat over SP, you wasted your battle phase. And if you're not killing me this turn, I don't know if you guys ever played against darkworld, you need to kill them then, and or just make sure that I have no cards in hand. And if I already have the snowball rolling and I'm able to make like an SP, at bare minimum an SP, I have like 3 cards left in hand, and I'm gonna do more stuff during my opponent's turn or during my turn when I draw. So like they're gonna be in big problems if they can't set up a big board like that and just be able to kill me. If I have like SP plus Graph on the field, it's just pretty much game over, which is really nice as well. That's it for the extra deck. I'm not going to be showing a side deck because, of course, this is just a deck that I've completely not taken to a locals. I just played a few games online, tested around some builds, and see what I liked. But there's obviously options you guys can play. You know, we are talking always about like your skill drains, your dark rulers, your copy of twin twisters, the kaijus, like all the stuff that you can play. Which is obviously up to you guys. But I hope you guys enjoyed watching the video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, see more content like this. Stay safe. Peace.